Good evening and welcome to another episode of From the Backseat, a football podcast on all things Premier League. The Gunners hammer the hammers, Villa are on the ropes, City win again and Sheffield United win to ensure Derby's 11-point record remains intact. So on the pod today is me, co-host Jack, and my co-host Hugh. How are you, Hugh?
Oh, very well, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I've had a little sabbatical from the pod, so a bit nervous to come back in, but feeling good, feeling positive. And we've got Dan as well on the pod, our Villa correspondent, and a bit of a sad boy today after the weekend's results. Hello, Dan. How are you?
I'm good, Jack. Yeah, as you said, pretty sad, but I'll get over it.
They were saying just before it started, apparently, the Villa boys are getting a bit nervous now that they've had a few injuries and a few bad results. The good vibes are going. But we'll get on to that. I think the only place to start really today is West Ham, 0, Arsenal 6. Who saw it coming after West Ham had beaten Arsenal twice this season already? They were looking to make it 3 for 3, but no, they got absolutely battered by the Gunners. And honestly, I feel like it could have been more. I feel like it could have been 7-0, could have been 8-0. You could have set a record.
Should have been, yeah. Absolutely smashed them, as we should have after they beat us at the Emirates as well. So it was all the sweeter, actually. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, tell a lie. We had planned to go out and watch it, and we also planned to go to the Chinese New Year parade. We ended up doing neither. So I caught the last 20 minutes live where we didn't score a goal, which is really sad. So I just wanted to throw that in. Bess, if you're listening to this, I blame you for your poor planning. We just did neither. But it was a great result, and it actually highlighted all things that we're so good at this season, right? Set piece fucking goals, guys. I said it last podcast. We are a sexy Stoke City, and that's how we played. That's how we played.
You actually are. You actually are. Why do you think that is, though? Is it because Declan Rice is taking the corners now, maybe?
I didn't realise he was so good at set pieces. You see, his two assists were amazing, especially for that Gabriel header with the free kick. He just perfect, mate.
Does he do long throws as well, Declan Rice?
He looks like he could do a long throw.
Yeah.
We're yet to see it. But here's a fun stat for you. Gabriel, since coming into the Premier League, I'm going to get this right, has scored the most set-piece goals since his arrival.
Mm-hmm.
One more than James Ward-Prowse now, the set-piece king, the free-kick master. So that's basically...
He scored that many headers?
Mate, he's an absolute battering ram. He loves a goal, doesn't he?
Oh, my God.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I actually think he's having a better season than Saliba, which is absolutely nuts to even consider right now.
I feel like people are alternating Saliba and Gabriel in their fantasy as well. So I'd had Saliba in, saw he scored. I was like, get in. And then Gabriel scores like 10 minutes later to undo that change.
Yeah, I don't know who you prefer right now. I think I prefer Gabriel right now. He's playing that confidence, just like an absolute monster at the back. So, yeah, super happy with the result. David Moyes, surprised he's still West Ham manager. But I suppose they are only 7th, right? They look so trash, but actually they're still having a pretty tidy season.
They are having a good season, but is it because he plays bad football that there's just no patience with him ever? Because on paper, he's one of the best managers around. He's won a European trophy. They're 7th. When he took over, they were like 17th. But just no one seems happy from a West Ham persuasion at all. Every single West Ham fan seems absolutely furious with him and wants him gone. And his contract is up at the end of the season. I don't know. He's not a popular man.
You sound like his post-match interview, which if you haven't listened to was quite entertaining. He essentially just defended what he's achieved at the club, which was more than fair enough. Like prevented relegation, semi-final of the Europa League, won the Conference League. But yeah, he is pretty split, I think, with the fans. But yeah, he just doesn't play attractive football, and I think you just kind of accept that with Moyes.
Yeah, I think that's nicely summed up, to be fair. Is he the most successful British manager since Fergie, technically?
That's a horrible statistic.
I think it could be, isn't it?
Probably, yes.
I can't think of a single British manager since Fergie who's actually won a trophy.
No. Brendan Rodgers is the most successful British manager.
Oh,
because he won like 3 titles with Celtic, didn't he? So got to be And he almost won a Premier League, so that basically counts as a trophy.
Does that count?
When all British managers can't even be in the title race. Name one British manager who's been in the title race. None. 0.
Does that count? I mean, winning leagues with Celtic.
Absolutely not.
Really count, does it?
But someone has to do it, and he did it. He's back there again, isn't he? I was thinking about this today, because I was wondering where the fuck he is. I think he's back at Celtic now.
Wait,
I'm not sure they're doing very well this
Yeah,
time.
he's back at
who was
Celtic.
managing Leicester when they won the FA Cup? Actually?
It was Brendan.
Okay,
So maybe
there you go.
Brendan.
Big
Yeah,
up.
good shout, Brendan Rodgers. So therefore, Brendan Rodgers to West Ham. it's only logical.
Makes sense to me. I feel like he really missed out on cashing in on his stock when it was high. Because he got the Liverpool job and he kind of fluffed it. And then he kind of fluffed the Leicester job, and now he's over. It's a bit like Graham Potter. Like, they all just go like this. They have that peak, and then as soon as it goes wrong,
Potter to West Ham makes a
They
lot
put
of
on
sense too. That makes a lot of sense. If you want,
I think Potter could have a resurgence. I don't think he's done. I think Chelsea's just a blip potentially. I think he's got.
would you take Graham Potter at Aston Villa? Obviously, not instead of Emery, but just generally. Like, if Emery just decided to leave tomorrow, would you take Graham Potter though?
You probably would, yeah.
Big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill. But it was a successful afternoon for Arsenal. I feel like we exercised a lot of demons in this game. Saka scored 2, including a penalty after missing last time at London Stadium. That was about it.
Bit of a dive though.
No,
Dive, wasn't it? It's pretty light.
He stepped on his foot. 100% Stonewall pen. And he really sold it as well, didn't he? So we loved that. El Neni made an appearance, and you know it's going well when El Neni gets jumped on in the second half.
Did he?
Our longest serving player now. Cedric played. It's just like all the old boys coming back into the squad.
Yeah, everyone got a run out. I missed the game as well. I was travelling to Villa Park, but I did get notifications of the goals, and it was reminiscent of the Newcastle Spurs last season. Just the goals coming in. It was very entertaining.
And from the first half out, it didn't really look like. It was quite an even game. West Ham were containing us. Wasn't that many chances apart from a crossbar chance. But as soon as that first goal went in, they just wilted and just dropped to their knees, basically. And it was relentless. But frustratingly, as an Arsenal fan, you wonder, where has this Arsenal been all season? This is easily our best performance today. Scoring like last season as well. But I don't understand what clicked, to be honest, in this game. I don't know if West Ham were that bad or we were that good. I think it was a mixture of both.
It's got to be a mixture of both.
Yeah, definitely a combination. I enjoyed Declan Rice not celebrating, but kind of celebrating.
Disappointing. Really disappointing.
What a goal.
What would you want him to celebrate?
100%. If I was Declan Rice and they were booing me, mate, I'd be going nuts. I'd be going Adebayor, mate. Just running down.
Don't lie. You've been on the receiving end of Adebayor. You don't want that.
It's our time to shine, mate. Like, we're stealing best players for once. So yeah, I'm annoyed you didn't go for an E-slide. I was speaking to my colleague about this who supports Arsenal, and he thinks Declan Rice hasn't really bought into Arsenal yet, which has made me very sad. So like in interviews, he doesn't refer to Arsenal as like we or us. He refers to them as Arsenal. Little things like that. And he was Mr. West Ham. He's obviously not Mr. Arsenal. He can't be up 8 months, but is there that buy-in from Declan Rice? Oh, I hope so.
Playing very well.
He is playing very well. It's true.
Yeah, he seems very happy. He's pretty unbelievable, to be honest. The more I see him play, the more I realise how everyone else has missed out on maybe the most complete English midfielder around, not called Jude Bellingham. It makes me a bit sad because he was there. He was gettable for everyone because he was at West Ham. Obviously, cost a lot of money, but he was gettable.
I think the biggest,
I feel a bit regretful.
The biggest testament is that no one's questioning the price tag 8 months in. Not like Fernandez. No offense, Chelsea. Sorry, Joe, but it's not a question that was completely fair, which is not in itself, but it's more of a market rate.
Yeah, no question. I think he's the best signing made in the summer now. I just can't think of anyone else who's this good.
Wait for Dan to say yes as well. Come on, Dan.
Yeah, no, I agree. It probably had the biggest impact on the team, I think.
Okay. Can we win the league? Do you think we can do it? Probably not. Probably don't want to get gassed. 6-0 win against David Moyes' West Ham, but
I actually think so. Basically, I was reading about this. Apparently, Arsenal have the lowest XG against them. So, like on paper, they're letting the most chances on their goal. or the least amount of chances. The only problem is they don't score many goals. But if they can just start scoring again, because they're a bit rubbish in front of goal, maybe stop playing Jesus and start playing Trossard, because, I mean, they played him as a false nine and they won 6-0. So run with that. The team with the lowest XG against them wins the league every year, basically, historically. So Arsenal are the best defensive team, and they're also set-piece merchants. So if they can just rediscover scoring goals again, then yeah, statistically they should win the league. But obviously Man City do exist. But the underlying statistics are quite promising for Arsenal, actually, because Liverpool are quite rocky defensively. Like, we let a lot of big chances, as shown when we played Arsenal. We got absolutely battered. And Man City, I mean, they're inevitable, but you never know. They're not defensively as sound as Arsenal. So
De Bruyne coming back, you just know.
make it that way you will.
You just know. Full power City, Haaland scoring at the weekend as well. It just seems inevitable, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It just seems inevitable.
Very, very compelling stat though, Jack. And actually, like, the goal difference, like 4 in terms of like goals scored, is pretty similar with like City, Arsenal, Liverpool. There's not that much in it, but without them having like a proper striker, you do worry for Arsenal. But
Love to
clearly,
see it.
if they keep winning games, it doesn't matter.
I think we could win the Champions League.
Exactly.
And I know that sounds nuts, but we're untested in Europe, Dan. I see you pulling the face, right? But 8 years without Champions League, whereas everyone's sitting deep in the Prem this year, which I think is part of the problem why we can't score. We're unknown quantity in modern day European football. So I think, bar Real Madrid, I'm confident we could win 2 legs against any team in Europe right now. I don't think there's any
City.
team. Sorry, apart from City and Madrid, I think we can beat any team over a 2-legged tie. Yeah. We just got to hope we don't run into.
What would you rather?
Champs.
Really?
Not to me.
Just got to stop those Twitter trolls waving in our face every time, especially now City have got one as well. Just thinking Bukayo Saka lifting it.
Just that first little star above your badge would be nice.
We've
got one, don't we, Dan? We've got a couple of them.
I know Villa won't be able to sing Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that.
Sick of it. I'm not in Forest, mate. Bunch of wankers.
Yeah, it counts.
It all counts. Right, last thing. David Moyes, is he going to make it to the end of the season? And should he make it?
Yeah.
And should he get a contract extension? Where's everyone's heads at with David Moyes? I think he's very negative and he's a bit old-fashioned. But
you've always had it in for Moisey, though.
I just think West Ham could be a really shit team. They could be Crystal Palace, or they could be Everton. So I think just make peace with the fact you will get battered every now and again. Because like Brighton get battered sometimes, and they don't really cry about it. You know, they accept it's part of the process.
Really sexy football, don't they?
But maybe being unsexy is so. It's, you know, if you go far enough, it's trendy again. You know, being like Brexit football. I don't know.
Well, let's ask Dan. He's gone from Gerrard to Unai. What would you prefer?
True.
Success, dodgy football, or sexy swashbuckling?
Where was the success of Gerrard?
Yeah, in a different universe where Gerrard actually did relatively well. Didn't play shit football and do shit.
Pretty incorrect comparison. I'd pick sexy football.
Yeah, I think so every time. Do or die.
Hands down. Like, yeah.
Fair. All right, let's move on then. Aston Villa 1, Manchester United 2. Dan, what's happened here? What has happened here? It's not looking good. That's 1 win in 4 games, Dan.
It's true.
It's not looking good.
It's true.
Is this a blip? Is this just fatigue catching up with the team? Too many fixtures? Not enough squad depth? Lack of rotation? Are Villa just running out of luck because they're just a very lucky team with a very streaky striker? What's going on?
Wow, not a theories thrown out there, Jack. Don't know where to start, really. I think we missed a lot of chances. I'm sure you watched the game. I think if we'd have won that game, like if we'd have converted, Watkins should have scored. Ramsey probably should have scored. Dougie Luiz should have scored. It's like left-footed chance that he kind of scuffed, and I think completely different outlook. We outplayed United. I'm going to talk about United in a second because they are just such a bizarre team. But I think we've not been playing that well since we beat City, like pre-Christmas. I do think it's some factors of added pressure when we got mentioned being in the title race and missing some like key players. And like definitely I've noticed like teams come, and when they don't have the ball, they do just camp like 2 blocks of four behind the ball. We find it a little bit challenging to like break down, and I think people have
I'd say
sussed
that's
out
a
our side of
compliment
things.
then. It's a compliment. You know, you are a big, dangerous team now. And unfortunately, that means that everyone just parks the bus and tries to counter you in your very high line. It's a sign that you're a dangerous team. It's a sign of respect, I'd say.
Yeah, but it felt like there was only really one big club playing yesterday against United. I just need to bash them a little bit here. I think we can all get on board, but trying to work out their style of play or any patterns of play is kind of impossible. They counted pretty well. They looked much more comfortable when we were in possession, which is fine. But when they had the ball at the back, really didn't see what Varane or like Maguire were trying to do, where they were trying to pass. I don't know as well, bit random, but did you see Casemiro get a yellow card?
I didn't know. What happened?
Well, it looked a bit like simulation from like Matty Cash, but when you cry wolf and you're Casemiro and probably one of the like dirtiest players to have played, no one believed him. The ref didn't believe him, and he was going like this, like every corner of the ground, and it was just hysterical. So that was a highlight.
So he was a proper pantomime villain, basically, just playing to the crowd.
He was, but yeah, just chances missed. And you're right.
Did you make Douglas Luiz playing to the crowd as well? Because he was also a pantomime villain in his own way.
I enjoyed that celebration very much from Douglas. Yeah,
that Brazilian like dancing.
Did it with his chest. It was very spontaneous, very weird, but I'm here for it.
I know. I'm not sure who it was. That Onana, I think, all around. But yeah, it didn't age well. But I'll allow it.
It was a Neil Maupay kind of thing, wasn't it? Just a bit of unnecessary trolling out of nowhere.
I'm here for the drama. Do you think, Dan, the high lines be found out a little bit, or Unai's system?
Right. Well, to come to our defence, we've been playing with our like 3rd and 4th choice centre backs recently. So obviously we know Mings is out. Konza got an injury last season. Mm-hmm. He's played pretty much every minute of every game. He's very integral to what Villa do. And we've been playing with Longley and Diego Carlos, who are decent players in their own right, but I'm not sure they're like the leaders or like communicators like in that back four. Mm-hmm. Probably the slowest of like all of them. And I think the pair of them, like we didn't even catch anyone offside, I think, in the Chelsea game when they played together previously, which was a big sign. And we normally catch people offside all the time. So we've got Pau Torres coming back from injury, but he wasn't rushed in. So I think that's
So hang on. So is your starting centre-back pairing Konsa and Pau Torres generally?
Yeah, since Mings got injured at the start, we had Konsa and Pau Torres. And Pau Torres is really key.
You've got so many good centre-backs. I didn't even realise that. You've got like 5 really strong centre-backs. Different qualities, but on paper. I didn't realise that.
I guess they're integral to the system though, right? To have really good centre-backs that can read the game, I suppose.
But only 2 currently fit right now.
Yeah, that's a major
concern.
Now
and not to bemoan injuries, but I think one of the things that I'm concerned about, and they're like in the push for 4th or 5th, is just the depth of the squad. We've lost Kamara today for like a long-term knee injury, so we've had Buendia, Mings, Kamara now out with knee injuries. So I think that's a big difference in squad depth versus like Liverpool, City, and Arsenal is not comparable. It's all doom and gloom, isn't it? Cranky.
We're going to come on to United soon. It'll be further doom and gloom for us, for all of us. I do feel like Aston Villa's success has come maybe a season too early. I mean, it's still like in the midst of a project, right? They're going to go in this summer again, and they're going to keep improving. Would you say where would you settle? So you had Conference League, if I'm not mistaken. That's what you qualified for last season. What's the natural next step? Considering that you were put as top 4 contenders, like you said, over Christmas, right? But it's looking very competitive now at the top. Would you settle for Europa League?
Potentially, but I think we can push and get 5th based on like watching United play. They are likely to pick up like results, but we're a far better team. So I'm still confident in Villa. Stephen Warnock wrote a good piece in BBC today. I think he was trying to protect his like prediction at the start of the season that Villa would be top 4, and he was like reassuring Villa fans that we would finish like top 4, top 5.
I would love to see you there instead of Spurs. I would love it. I would love it.
The problem is Spurs have just got the Premier League to focus on. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Right, let's get on to my favourite subject. I've looked at the data, Dan. I've looked at the underlying numbers, and Ollie Watkins has played 5 Champions League clubs in the Premier League this season. And do you know how many goals and assists he's got? That's right. That's right. Listen up. 0. Is he a flat track bully?
Is he or what?
Is he a flat track bully, Dan? Because the statistics suggest he just scores against, the weaker defences, but against real Champions League quality opposition, he's just not quite clinical enough. I think that was on the show against Manchester United again, wouldn't you say?
It's brutal.
Yeah, again, yeah. Oh, he's waiting for this. Yeah, I think today, yeah, he definitely should have scored. I was the one chance where he got played through by McGinn. He waited for the ball to come to him, which was really frustrating. But some of his like movement yesterday, like work off the ball, like link up play was brilliant. It was just missing the goals. I don't know how to defend like the contributions against the Champions League sides. But yeah, since like Christmas's goal conversions dropped by half.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Dan. As we all know, the Darwin versus Ollie race is well and truly open. Are we doing goals? Are we doing goal contributions or just purely goals?
I think goals.
Either. I mean, if you want just a finisher, then yeah. If you want a complete forward, you probably just put the whole package together. But just depends, really, doesn't it?
Well, let's have a little run through. Darwin Núñez, 23 matches played or appeared in, 8 goals, 7 assists. Pretty solid, some might say. Pretty solid. Ollie Watkins, the useless lump, 24 games played, 11 goals, 10 assists.
It's a healthy lead.
That's a healthy lead.
That's quite a healthy lead.
6 goal contributions more and just 1 extra appearance. Now, granted, he started more games, but Dan, I'd be pretty confident if I were you right now, especially after watching Darwin last weekend against Arsenal. I don't think he's going to score many. I don't think he's going to score that many.
I'll expect like a cash out option from Ash.
Yeah, Ash is at home crying right now, for sure.
Oh, give it time. Give it time. He's only 1 good game away from it all coming together.
Hey, Ollie Watkins, I agree.
Thank you, Jack.
His time is over. His time is over. It's time of the Darwin Núñez now. I'm trying to work out if we should have a break or not. I'm completely lost where we are in terms of the podcast time.
Yeah, to explain that, we've just had numerous technical issues, right? So we're just freeballing this.
Yeah. Do you know what? Let's take a break. Let's take a break. And then when we come back, we'll talk about Darwin Núñez and his great headed goal.
Welcome back to Front Backseat Football Podcast. We are back with round 2 and we're going over to Anfield because we're biased. Liverpool 3, Burnley 1.
Yes, very nice, very comprehensive. Burnley are very bad at football and Liverpool are very bad at defending and Burnley are very bad at shooting. And that means that it was an easy win for us, but they probably should have drawn. Should have been 3-3. But we take it, we move, and Darwin Núñez scored a nice goal. Diaz scored a nice goal, and Diego Jota scored a nice goal, and everyone scored a header. 4 headed goals in the game. Has that ever happened before? Who knows? Probably. But it didn't. I don't think anyone learned anything from this game. I think Liverpool are quite bad defensively, and that does concern me generally. We let a lot of big chances on goal, like a lot. And the need for an actual defensive midfielder is growing every game. McAllister is sometimes very good, but it's not really his job. And Endo, as much as I love him, he's limited, isn't he? So that does cause me concern. I don't think you can win the Premier League just outscoring people. We tried it with Brendan, didn't really work in the end. And I think Arsenal are much better defensively and City are much better defensively. But we're still top of the league. as things stand somehow. So it's a weird one, but I'm happy. But I'm feeling a little concerned that this last dance of Jurgen Klopp is not going to end as well. It might just end with the Carabao Cup, which is a bit of a sad way to go out.
You won't have that fairy tale ending.
No.
I'm interested
Yeah,
on
all the
how you're
finals.
conceding chances. I feel like you have that high line issue that we have. Burnley seem to be beating that. What's going wrong?
So I think basically what we have done historically under Klopp is we play with a defensive midfielder in between the two centre backs. So we essentially play like Arsenal do as well, like a lot of teams do now. You essentially play like three at the back in transition. But because we don't have a natural defensive midfielder, we end up just playing two centre backs and everyone else just bombs forward. And it just creates horrible, horrible gaps on the flank. Like you see it in a lot of games. Konate is having to like cover right back, centre back, and defensive midfield all in one go. And Van Dijk's trying to do his best on the other side, but we put too many players forward when what we could do is just pass the ball to players and maybe a bit more confident just dribbling and carrying the ball a bit further. Like we do a lot of unnecessary small passes in the middle that like little triangles that don't really need to happen. We're still working it out, but we have a few pieces that aren't quite good fits. Like Trent's a bit of an odd fit. Trent's now become our defensive midfielder. We don't have a right back. It's all a bit. We're fitting too many weird pieces in because they're too good at football to keep out, and it makes us a bit of a weird team. But we just back Alisson generally. That's our mantra. And generally, he bails us out, but not against Arsenal.
Let's talk about that. Do you reckon Alisson volunteers because of his mistake against Arsenal? That's why Haller was in.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sure he just had a little cold and he just couldn't play. But if you're going to use your second choice goalie, Burnley's not a bad fixture to do it, thankfully.
On paper, yeah, agreed. Yeah. You guys were really trashing that first half, though.
Mm-hmm. We are actually quite rubbish generally, performance-wise. We're just very clinical, and it's bailed us out a lot. Like I think we have an inflated position in the league generally. I think.
I don't know. It's not the Liverpool of old, but you're still grinding out results, which arguably is better, right?
Yeah, but I think we've probably played well in about a third of the games generally this season, and not all of them wins.
You're still top of the league.
We just smashed and grabbed it. Yeah, we've got great strikers. Like Jota is clinical. Darwin Núñez is chaotic and underrated, weirdly. And Mo Salah is also really lethal. And it's just like, between them, Gakpo's, I don't really have strong opinions about him either way. Diaz has started to contribute. We just have really good forwards. So it just bails us out. But I'm not feeling very confident after that Arsenal win. And even this performance, I don't feel confident, but
it's one of those.
I believe in
the crunch time is coming. End of March, isn't it? City at Anfield. And we go away at the end of March to the Etihad. Like they're the big games. If everyone just keeps until then, that's going to be the real season-defining moments, I reckon. And I reckon you guys can do City. I reckon Jurgen Klopp's got one last win in him against Pep. He's got
historically pretty good. Historically pretty good against City. I think Jurgen Klopp's got the best win ratio against him across like his career. And yeah, it would feel very Jurgen Klopp to smash City one more time and then valiantly fall to second on the last day. That'd be a fitting tribute, I think. Like a single goal.
Oh man, let's hope. Let's hope. I say let's hope Liverpool win it this year, but actually I don't want that. But I prefer Liverpool to win it out of City. Liverpool. It goes without saying, right? That's the pack.
Likewise. Also, I heard a horrible thing today that apparently City are talking about the double treble as a viable, thing to do this season. And it hadn't occurred to me that was even real. Obviously, it's real every season, but because the treble's so mythical, it didn't occur to me that it's becoming a real risk again. And that makes me deeply unhappy. I'd say at that point, English football's finished. If someone with a treble or a double treble.
It's hard to say
that feels
league everywhere else, doesn't it? If that's happening.
Yeah. I think at that point, the brand is quite damaged, and it's in the Premier League's interest to send them all the way down at that point.
It's for the breach.
I'm just saying, that's a lot of breaches and they're ruining the product. It's in everyone's interest to send them down and forget this ever happened.
It is a bit tiring now, isn't it? Would this be their sixth one in a row? No. But it'd be like 6 and 7 years or something dumb.
Yeah, 6 and 7 or like 7 and 8 or something stupid.
That's nuts. For the most competitive league in the world, that is absolutely nuts.
But speaking of teams who win the title every year, what's going on with Bayern Munich and Harry Kane? And why are they not going to win after 10 wins in a row of the Bundesliga? Comprehensively smashed. We're a Premier League podcast, but it's very interesting what's going on in Germany. So we're going to talk about it. Bayern Leverkusen 3, Bayern Munich 0. Comprehensively battered by Xabi Alonso's upstarts. And as a future Liverpool manager, I'm excited to watch it happen.
Oof. I mean, where do we begin with that? You know why they're leading the charge. It's obvious to me. It's not Alonso.
Granite.
Granit fucking Xhaka, mate. Granit fucking Xhaka. Yeah. He's got the bit between his teeth. And I reckon they will win it because of him. Because he knows from last year what it's like to be the underdog and topple them. Yeah. And he's not going to make the same mistakes. He's playing so well. I watched the extended highlights and his passing's so good. I miss Granit so much. I know we're talking about Bundesliga.
Pulling the strings, isn't he, in midfield?
Also surprising, Nathan Teller. Do you remember him at Southampton?
I thought it was him.
Yes. Doing really well. Tearing up by Munich. I'm like, what the hell?
What the?
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah.
Their team is not that good on paper.
No. Villa have been trying everything to sign Frimpong as well, their right back.
Yeah.
He looks good. He looks really, really good, actually.
Looks very good. Him and Grimaldo, I think. 15 and
honestly,
11.
It's just giving me like Liverpool 2018 vibes, like rampaging attacking fullbacks, just decimating everyone. And there's no answer for it. That's why we need Xabi Alonso at Liverpool as the next Liverpool manager to re-unlock Trent and Robertson for a few more seasons and recreate what he's doing with Leverkusen. But yeah, 31 games unbeaten this season. It's the longest unbeaten run, I think, ever now in Germany. Although don't quote me on that, but pretty ridiculous.
I think it is,
How is this possible? How is this even possible? For a team where he picked them up and they were 17th. This is like taking Everton on a 31-game unbeaten run this season.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
They lost the top goal scorer as well last season. Not to chat about Villa again, but Diaby came to Villa.
True.
So,
That's very, very true. Yeah. I mean, I guess it speaks more for Alonso's tactical acumen, if you will. He can take this team to an unbeaten stage in February in the Bundesliga and also tear Bayern Munich apart 3-0. I mean, if you're going to do an interview for the Liverpool job, then this is the perfect candidate so far, right? And I almost feel like if he does win it with Leverkusen, I know it's only his first season, but like, what do you do after that? They've never won the Bundesliga.
Yeah, he's absolutely peaked at that point. I was thinking about this because obviously the future Liverpool job is like coming up and it's a big one. He's definitely the favourite, but actually, like, De Zerbi's not flavour of the month anymore because he's only won like 4 games out of 19 in the Premier League. But does that really matter? Do we just get carried away with like recency bias? And like, should we actually look at who's the best fit? Because we got Jurgen Klopp after a pretty disastrous season at Dortmund. Like they were terrible, and we still stuck with him. So I wonder if
that's the risk,
like,
isn't it, with Xabi? It's like he is, although
a lot to work
on
with.
Paper,
it is the hottest of hot streaks, but
on paper you take him
all
day long.
This is what Villa did with Gerrard, wasn't it? There is that bias.
I put Gerrard to replace Klopp. Actually, that's a brilliant idea, Dan. Would love to see that.
That was in the offing, wasn't it? That's what they thought. That's what the Liverpool fans thought when Gerrard first came to Villa. They're like,
yeah, just a nice stepping stone to cut his teeth at Villa, you know.
Yeah.
Gerrard thought that was a problem, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Put his feet up.
And now he's at Al Ettifaq, just doing very averagely. Got a new contract though, so
cash in. Yeah.
I don't think that says a lot.
I think Xabi is the real deal.
I do. You look at the managers he's worked with in his career, right? Rafa, Carlo, Mourinho, Pep.
Yeah.
Poor, isn't it? Really, you can't really learn from that.
He could be Pep Mark II, couldn't he? He seems like a smart man. He seems like a good lad. He seems just like someone who's just got it all, really. He's just one of those people that's just winning at life.
But also, like,
good looking as well.
Exactly. He's just a very likable man. You know, it's like if Bellingham wanted to become a manager, he'd be like, yeah, he's the real deal because he looks good. and he was a good midfielder. Like Xabi Alonso can still ping a 50-yard pass. So he must be a good
he's
manager.
got that. Yeah, like he would though. He'd command the dressing room really well because they're just like he's just a cool guy. Like you want to be like Xabi Alonso in the way that like David Moyes might struggle to connect. You feel like Xabi Alonso is just effortlessly connected with everyone.
Do you think that plays a massive part? Like a
I think so.
Like
think about your working life. If you've got a manager
reputation.
that you like, that you can connect with, like at work, and they're like quite close to your age. They're pretty cool.
I've
think it's
always
naturally
wondered this.
You're going to rate
with,
him.
sorry to interrupt, Jack. I've always wondered this with Hodgson and Elise and
I don't know what you're trying to
and
say.
Eze. How does he chat to them?
He goes and looks at what's trending in the drill charts, and then he goes and just references all of those artists one by one. It's like, what do you think about Digger D? Am I right, guys? That's how I imagine it going down.
Oh, Roy. Oh, Roy. Speaking of Roy, he's about to kick off against Chelsea. What do we reckon, lads?
A stodgy 0-0.
That would be right, to be fair. That would be fitting. But actually, I'm taking a tangent. What do we think about Bayern Munich and their collapse? 11 years winning in a row. Looks like it's coming to an end, doesn't it? That's at the current time.
I still feel like they're just going to win it because that's just the way football is. It's quite depressing in that regard. The big teams do just end up winning.
I don't know. 5 points behind with 13 games to go.
Minimal.
What was the
one?
Yeah, what was it last season with Dortmund? How far ahead were they?
Oh, it was like a walk in the park. Let's have a quick look.
But yeah, that felt inevitable that Bayern were gonna.
Sorry, Dan. That's not a walk in the park at all. They won on goal difference.
Yeah, they did. They won with like the last game of the season, and Dortmund lost at home. But I was wondering what the I was wondering how in front Dortmund were at any stage in the season.
Oh, it'd be good if
I think they must have been at least 10 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd still back Bayern to reel them in because I feel like, respectfully, I don't mean this as a dig you, but once Arsenal realised that they could actually win it, it all changed. The mood definitely changed.
Comes in.
And
this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So Granit comes in with the experience and is like, lads, it's not over until it's over. He deserves a bloody title.
Go and two-foot someone, get a bit carried away with all the passion, and it'll all crumble from there. In fact, that would be my prediction. A Granit red card to cause a Bayern Leverkusen collapse and the title charge to
Yeah, but
falter.
I guess the difference is like this was like City Arsenal last year when they come and smashed us 3-1 or 3-0 even. Whereas they've actually just smashed Bayern. I don't think Bayern had a shot on goal. So
yeah, but I think once they lose one, they'll lose a couple within like a short period of time. It's just the way it goes.
do you want to make a wager?
But I remember
do you want to make a wager? We'll put some money in that.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you want to go for? What do you want to go for?
£20 Bayern Munich win it.
Okay. Done. I'll take that bet
I like
all day.
I like the contrast of like cynicism and optimism from the two brothers here.
You know what's weird, Dan, is that I'm actually very optimistic on this podcast, and Jack is uncharacteristically cynical on this podcast. Jack's actually quite a big optimist in life.
I've become a bit of like a Graham Souness figure, where I'm just depressed by modern football. Just makes me unhappy.
Well, speaking of being depressed by modern football, did anyone see The Undertaker presenting Saudi Arabia's bloody FA Cup? or what's going
farcical.
on?
Incredible.
Absolutely farcical.
We've reached the Matrix levels. You know what's weird about that, though? Is like, surely The Undertaker, it can't be that popular in Saudi Arabia. In a deeply religious country, you know, having The Undertaker, of all people, seems a bit against the grain. I mean, I don't know if I'm being out of what, you know, I don't know if I'm saying the wrong thing there, but it just seemed like an odd person to be doing it, of all people.
Which wrestler would be suited?
More appropriate wrestler.
So I've got one in mind, but
Rikishi.
it's a bit on the nose.
Triple H.
It's got to be the great Khali, surely.
Oh, the great Khali. Is he still kicking about? I think
The Man Mountain.
Is he still alive? I'm
Yeah,
thinking of Andre the Giant. So. He is indeed still alive, the great Khali. But then I don't know if you're just being, no offense, a bit racist there. He's Indian after all.
Yeah. That's what I was worried about. A bit on the nose, isn't it?
I don't know. It just seems like a bizarre one. A real bizarre one. But Dan, like you said, Cristiano Ronaldo was loving it, wasn't he?
It's not a serious league.
Buzzing.
Is
Yeah,
there?
I think we just need to enjoy it while it lasts. I think it's like the Chinese league. It's just going to peter out. We're going to be like, do you remember when everyone was moving to Saudi for like 500,000 a week? The Undertaker did the trophy. Yeah, me too. Weird. Anyway, it's no one wants to be there. It's very clear that no one wants to be there. Benzema's not happy. Henderson's already sacked it off. How many other players are just going to sack it off?
Yeah.
I think it's already peaked.
Neymar apparently is hating it as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure Riyad Mahrez' wife is not too happy as well. Did you see? Did you see that? It is what it is.
It's just a game, innit? What?
so funny. And what's up with his voice?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so like husky and deep.
Game, isn't it?
You can just tell he accepted that offer without consulting his wife. Bless him.
He definitely did.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission. The classic.
Oh,
Let's end on a nice note. Ivory Coast have won AFCON. They were the hosts. My partner M worked on the opening ceremony, as did Bell, one of the guests on the pod as well. So that's quite fun for them. We got a little shout out from the artist. But I think the biggest shout out should go to Sebastian Haller.
yeah.
Because he scored in the final, and for someone who came from West Ham, ridicule, he's come back from pancreatic cancer, back at Dortmund, doing bits. It's just a great story, generally, for him.
And it was
So
such
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Ivory Coast.
Fantastic finish. Yeah.
the finish was
Mhm.
outrageous. It was so good that it looked like an own goal, didn't it? He was like, there's no
Yeah,
conceivable way he could score that. And then you watch replay and you're like, whoa.
it was the absolute definition of good touch for a big man.
Mm.
So delicate, so nice. So yeah, congratulations, Ivory Coast and Sebastian Haller.
Well deserved.
Agreed. I'd say Simon Adingra was arguably the player of the match. So he looked so good. You know the guy from Brighton?
They've done it again.
From Brian.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Done it again. They've done it again.
How satisfying must it be to sign someone for like, I don't know, pretty small amount of money and just watch their value grow? They're not even playing for your club. You're just watching them and you're like,
I know.
that's 50 mil, 50, 60 mil player right there.
Easily. He's like in the 50, 60 mil bracket right now. If he continues his form, it's nuts. But we've all learned our lesson, right? Don't buy from
Yeah, I
Brighton.
want to add one final point on Brighton. Did you see their announcement video for their new signing?
No.
It is truly one of the greatest announcement videos ever. So the guy they signed is from Boca Juniors. He's a ginger Argentinian. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Does slightly.
Sounds very, very familiar. Sounds a lot like Alexis McAllister to me. But he's also the most signed wonder kid on Football Manager 24. And so what do? They signed him on Football Manager 24 and recorded themselves signing him for Brighton. And then they launched it. That's the announcement video. And it's just him at the end, like...
You know what I don't
Fine.
get? Is if he really is the most signed player in Football Manager, why weren't more people in for him? It seems too simple, doesn't it?
Surely.
Just be like,
But you'd back Brighton to get it right. So it does.
every time.
It does, yeah. I find it very confusing. Surely there's only a limited amount of players who are good. Surely it's not that difficult to work out who they are. Just buy them.
That's what
But
was
maybe I'm
surprising.
oversimplifying it.
Yeah. I mean, as a Brighton fan, you just have blind faith these days. I think the biggest thing is like they've been gutted and they're still doing so well in terms of their scouting. Like, it's not about their football director or their scouts. It's about the system that they have in place. It's about the data. So fair play. Well done, Brighton. You fuckers. Well done. Take them all.
We love Brian on this pod, don't we? Bloody love him. Can't wait to have the Zerbi at Anfield next season. Passion on the touchline, and everyone getting their studs on the ball from deep. But anyway, yeah, I think that's enough. I think that's enough for the pods. Thank you for listening, everyone. Apologies if the audio quality is a bit iffy. We had to do some like caretaker stuff to sort this out. I blame Riverside.
I blame Riverside too.
for listening. This is really your last chance at this point, guys, because this is the second time now.
Yeah.
But follow us on socials from the Backseat Football, and we'll be back next week with a different lineup and different stuff to talk about. So thank you very much. Goodbye.